Self-expression, documentation. Something feels very strange today. I know, what a shocking revelation, as if that's not how I feel most of the time. It's different. It's different. There's a sedation. There's a disorientated. I awoke sensing anxiety and guilt, a tremendous amount of it, and felt it. And it took some time of observing and allowing and letting it be to reach a place of that external observation. And that is where I am. But it is a very curious sensation. There is it's a struggle to express, but I desire to describe this because it is pointed, even in its diffusion and dilution. There is a queerness to it, at risk of being politically incorrect. As a queer person, I'm giving myself permission to use that word in the more original, non-politically sexual orientation affiliated sense of simply that which is peculiar. It is an oddness. It is as though one stepped outside and all was cast in a sort of green hue, that the sun was shining a different color or the sky reflecting a different shade. There is the sense at once of alarmment, and yet not being alarmed by it. It is a feeling of being one who has experienced an explosion, some very loud sound, and so immediately after being in that space where the hearing has gone out, there is only ringing. There is only the silence and the ringing. And perhaps seeing that others are reacting in panic and distress and dismay, but feeling removed from it, feeling this detachment from it that is not unpleasant. In fact, it is very peaceful, but it is strangely removed. There is some sense almost of, should I not be feeling more? And then, why? No. A deeper knowing, yet that all is well. It feels like being sedated, as though I had taken some sort of drug, a benzo or something. I am fully unmedicated at this moment in time. It is the feeling of anesthetic, a numbness, an internal numbness and tingling, almost as though there is the awareness, such as when a limb is asleep and you are aware of its presence there, its attachment to your body, and yet you cannot feel it. And there is that sense of alarm, but at the same time, there's no pain, there's no discomfort. It's simply a sort of pressurized space. It's just different. There is the sense that some part of my energy, my soul, my emotions are, again, not being suppressed or repressed, but simply anesthetized. As though there is some procedure taking place. There is that feeling too. A feeling of being worked on, which is curious, of something being altered. It is unclear if it's being removed. There is sort of a sense of extrication, of amputation, and yet at the same time, not anything being lost. There is a feeling of gaining, a sort of upgrade, but in what way is unknown. There is the sense of otherness, which in its vague and indistinct existence, simply as that phrase otherness encompasses the whole of that sensation, it is otherness. A distinct sensation of being more than the self that typically is, being certainly not just a collective consciousness, but a collective of specific other individual consciousnesses, a specific band of frequency which contains hundreds, if not thousands, of I am instances, a feeling of server upgrade, server maintenance, whereas before it was the adding of a texture pack, the uploading of something which conceivably one could still be online for and witness popping into view. There's that sensation too, but it is much deeper than that. It is a feeling of everything shifting beneath the surface in a way that is not visible, yet is palpable. It is internally tangible. A feeling of floating, a bit of that head change sense, a broader awareness of the more of reality, and a greater connection to that space than to that which is surrounding this physical form. A being pulled back again. It is more than the feeling of pulling back. It is the feeling of being pulled back, of being worked on, of being upgraded, of something being taken offline so that other parts can be altered in some way. There is a distinct sense, again, of that sedation, of the desire to keep one minimally stimulated, to keep the body itself comfortable and warm and quiet, as one would for a patient, particularly in some form of surgery. And there is that pervasive silence. I experience what I suppose is called subjective tinnitus or tinnitus, where even in silence one can detect, if one listens carefully, a ringing. It's very quiet though, and I have to listen for it. But the silence itself seems more powerful. There is that sense of the words themselves interrupting the silence. The silence being that which is pervasive, the sound of the stream, the sound of that stream of consciousness which is eternal and uninterrupted and always flowing. And that when speaking, one is merely speaking over it, but it is not affecting it in any way. And so it is like that hearing of a river, walking in a forest and realizing suddenly that you have for some time been hearing this rushing, but it is only just now entered into your conscious awareness. And now that you are hearing it, you are realizing it is surrounding you. That it is more constant than any other sound, than any other thing. You can feel the energy of it. You can feel the pull of it. There is suddenly this inclination to walk towards it, even not knowing which direction that is. It is the feeling of being called, of a moth to a flame, almost. Again, without fear, because there is that sedation. There is the witness of the surface level, like being in the eye of a storm, seeing things whipping all around you, houses, cars, fence posts flying through the air, and yet no alarm, for you are still in the center. A feeling of safety, even, of enclave, of sanctuary. A deep and pervasive stillness. The bottom of the ocean, which knows that its surface may be perturbed, experiencing quite a turbulent storm, and yet there it is removed. There is no care. There is not even the care of not caring. In fact, there is an appreciation for it. But it is soft again. Sedated is the best word, I think. Yeah. Something profound shifting beneath the surface. A feeling of being everywhere but here. That is the sense. That is as much, I think, as I can describe it. And so I am simply leaning into this sensation, which does not take much. It is a very again, numb sort of experience. That feeling of simply being taken. I have never been in a sensory deprivation tank, but that comes to mind. There is that too. That feeling of total removal from the senses, the physical ones at least. But again, this sort of almost tingling numbness internally as well, as if a nerve is being pressed on and cutting off sensation somewhere. But inside, energetically, emotionally. The intentional blockage of some circuit. Curious. Curiouser and curiouser. Well, there it is. My self-expression for the moment. This needed to come out, wanted to come out, even in all of its stoic neutrality, feeling rather like Dr. Spock. But it is not unpleasant. It is not bad, and there is nothing bad coming from it, that is certain. Only good. Only more, only expansion, only increasing. That is known. So it is. Thank you for your witness. I am very curious to know if there are others experiencing this type of sensation. I have a distinct feeling there will be. Though, of course, our cycles of time are not all perfectly aligned. They are growing closer and closer together. So, thus it is spoken, documented. One day I will publish this, who knows. Have a peaceful afternoon, souls. I love you.